Did you know that Paraguay is a landlocked country located in Central South America? It is bordered by Bolivia to the north and west, Brazil to the east, and Argentina to the south. Paraguay has a diverse landscape, with mountains, forests, and plains. The highest point is Cerro Tres Candu, which is 842 meters, 2,762 feet, tall. Paraguay is also home to the Pantanal, a vast wetland ecosystem that is home to a variety of wildlife, including caimans, capybaras, and jaguars.
Most people ignore Paraguay, but this country runs almost entirely on renewable energy, exports more electricity than it uses, recognizes Taiwan instead of China, and flies a flag with two different sides. It survived a war that nearly erased its population. So why does nobody talk about it? Here are 21 facts that will change how you see Paraguay. A flag with two faces. Paraguay has one of the most unusual national flags on the planet because the front and back are officially different. Most countries use the same design on both sides, but Paraguay does not follow that rule, which already makes it memorable for a video hook. On the front, the white band carries the national coat of arms, centered around a yellow star, and the words República del Paraguay. On the reverse, that symbol changes to the Treasury seal, which shows a lion, a liberty cap, and the words Paz y Justicia, meaning peace and justice. This design was formally adopted in the 19th century and remains a defining feature of Paraguayan identity today. Visually, it gives the flag almost a double personality, as if the country decided one symbol simply was not enough. It is a small detail, but it says a lot about Paraguay's strong sense of symbolism, statehood, and historical distinctiveness. The flat 10% tax system. Paraguay operates one of the simplest tax systems in the region, built around relatively low and flat rates. Personal income tax, corporate income tax, and value-added tax are generally structured at around 10%, which is significantly lower than in many neighboring countries. This framework was designed to encourage investment, formalization, and economic stability. For businesses, especially small and medium enterprises, the predictable structure reduces bureaucratic complexity. Compared to progressive tax systems elsewhere in Latin America, Paraguay's model is straightforward and comparatively light. This simplicity has been part of the country's strategy to attract foreign entrepreneurs and regional investors. While enforcement challenges exist in parts of the informal economy, the official system remains clear and competitive. In fiscal terms, Paraguay positions itself as a low-tax, business-friendly jurisdiction within South America. Paraguay recognizes Taiwan. Paraguay is the only country in South America that officially recognizes Taiwan instead of the People's Republic of China. This diplomatic position has been in place since the late 1950s, and despite global pressure, Paraguay has maintained that stance for decades. While most nations shifted recognition to Beijing in the 20th century, Paraguay chose to preserve formal ties with Taipei. This decision affects trade agreements, investment flows, and even agricultural exports, especially beef and soy. Taiwan has provided financial cooperation, infrastructure support, and development assistance in return. Politically, this makes Paraguay strategically unique in Latin America. It also means Chinese state investment is far more limited there compared to neighboring countries. In geopolitical terms, Paraguay stands as a rare diplomatic outlier in a region otherwise aligned with Beijing. The Paraguay River is not just a waterway, it is a natural dividing line that splits the country into two dramatically different regions. To the east lies the more densely populated and agriculturally fertile area, where most major cities, including Asunción, are located. To the west stretches the vast Gran Chaco, a sparsely populated and semi-arid expanse that feels like a different country altogether. The eastern region benefits from richer soil, heavier rainfall, and more developed infrastructure. In contrast, the Chaco is known for dry forests, cattle ranches, and extreme seasonal temperatures. More than half of Paraguay's territory lies in the west, yet only a small fraction of the population lives there. This geographic contrast shapes the economy, culture, and even political priorities of the nation. Few countries are so visibly divided by a single river. The coast. Paraguay is landlocked, yet it maintains one of the largest river navies in the world. At first glance, that sounds contradictory, but the Paraguay and Paraná rivers serve as strategic arteries connecting the country to the Atlantic Ocean. Because river transport is essential for trade and defense, Paraguay developed a significant naval force dedicated entirely to inland waterways. These vessels patrol borders, protect shipping routes, and support logistical operations along the river system. Historically, control of these rivers has been vital for both economic survival and military security. Even without a coastline, Paraguay treats its rivers as lifelines. The naval presence underscores how seriously the country takes its geographic constraints. It is a rare example of a nation adapting strategically to landlocked status, rather than being limited by it.
Good evening to our fellow viewers from all around the world, especially to the nation of Paraguay and Argentina. I'm the news anchor as well as the WTO Asian Secretariat for today's news report, Ms. Wani. Today we bring you a special report from the Diplomatic Summit, where a historical bilateral transit agreement has been reached between the landlocked nations of Paraguay and its coastal neighbor Argentina. This agreement represents a delicate balance between economic necessity and national security. We will later on hear official statement from the key delegates and witness the final press conference on the matter. Let's now begin with the introduction of our respected delegates that are willing to present themselves today and enlighten us regarding this bilateral transit agreement between both and the Asian Secretariat. I have been specifically tasked with ensuring that this treaty aligns with the international legal framework established by the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement. The objective wasn't just to write a contract, but to create a sustainable mechanism for cross-border cooperation. I have guided both nations to acknowledge that efficiency at the border is a shared responsibility. The legal framework we have established provides for transparent data sharing, which is the prerequisite for any long-term trade success. We have effectively mediated between Paraguay's need for market access and Argentina's requirement for strict regulatory compliance. Now, let us hear the thoughts of Paraguay's Trade Minister, Ms. Juni. The stage
Hi, I am the Trade Minister Juni. So, for Paraguay, this treaty is about survival and growth. As a landlocked country, our macroeconomic stability is entirely dependent on our ability to reach international ports. We have been suffocated by high transit tariffs and administrative burden that have no place in a modern economy. By negotiating this lower tariff, we are directly lowering the cost of imported goods for our citizens and increasing the competitiveness of our agriculture export. I have argued that every physical inspection performed on our cargo, where is it not strictly necessary, acts as a tax on our development. This agreement is a monumental step toward integrating our economy into the global supply chain. my fellow companion. Here, we'll now proceed to present several technical solutions for cargo transit efficiency.
Hello everyone, I'm Risha. As the Chief of Logistics, it is my duty to analyze cargo and transit issues and provide meticulous solutions in order to ensure that Paraguay's supply chain operations do not face unnecessary disruptions. Technology is the bridge that allows us to overcome our geographic conditions. I have presented a, I have presented a comprehensive plan for bonded transport tracking, where instead of stopping trucks for manual paperwork, we are moving towards electronic seals. These seals utilize technology to track cargo movements in real time. In cases of abnormalities such as a container being opened prematurely, an alarm will immediately trigger in Argentina's customs office. This allows Paraguay to prove the integrity of our cargo without slowing down any of the other trucks for manual inspection. It turns the entire transporting journey into a bonded corridor where the cargo is treated as if it were in a secure zone, from the very moment it leaves our factories to the moment it arrives at the Argentine port. That will be all from me. Thank you for listening.
Hi, it's me, Marcia, the head of Customs of Argentina. In my opinion, efficiency cannot come at the cost of security. My responsibility is to the people of Argentina to ensure that our borders are not used as gateway for illicit trade or contraband. While we are open to the digital solutions proposed by the Chief of Logistics, we insisted on a framework of strict compliance. This agreement grants us the power to conduct spot check interventions if our tracking systems report any anomaly. We have ensured that this treaty does not weaken our customs enforcement, but rather digitalize it, making it more effective. We maintain full sovereign control over what enters and exits our territory, ensuring that safe transit corridors remain secure. I'll now pass the stage to my partner, Ms. Afira, to explain her thoughts and proposal.
Greetings to all. As the Minister of Infrastructure Argentina, I must finally talk about the overall physical reality. Our roads and ports are not infinitely resources. The constant chassis of a heavy freight truck for our neighbour places a significant wear and tear for our highway system. My position in this negotiation was clear. We support trade, but the infrastructure of an enabler must be well maintained. We have secured a commitment for a dedicated use fee for the transit traffic. This fund will be reinforced to ensure that the road and port infrastructure remain in top condition, which benefit both Argentina and Paraguay in the long run. It is a fair investment for our assets we are providing. That will be all for me. Thank you.
Thank you to all delegates. I'm proud to see how understanding both nations are towards each other's requests and requirements. A peaceful treaty has been managed to form due to such diligence and dedication from both sides. To witness the final agreement, let us proceed with the official press conference. First and foremost, to my right, the representative of the landlocked nation Paraguay, Ms. Jenny as the Trade Minister, and Ms. Risha as the Chief of Logistics. To my left, they represent Costa Neighbor, Argentina. Here we have Ms. Marcia as the Argentina Head of Customs and Ms. Afira as the Minister of Infrastructure. Pleased to announce that the treaty is now officially signed. This represents a victory for both Paraguay, a landlocked country, and its Costa Neighbor, Argentina. Thank you. Thank you.
May this agreement be a solid foundation for future economic prosperity.
May this partnership grow stronger as time flies by.
Such a landmark day for a regional important life from the country. This concludes our present topic.
Nothing a concern. See the cities on fire, watch the bridges as they burn. I disappeared, now I'm wishing she returned. At the same time, wishing I could learn all this paper that I earn. The first bird gets the worms.
Yeah.